Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and this video is concluding the 3-part series of our Guide to Grind series. Now this is going to feature the tier 10 tanks themselves that we've been working up to, and that's the Object 430, the 430U and the K-91. So we're going to start off with the K-91 first, and in the top right hand screen you can see I'm running Optics, Camo Net and Gun Rammer. And on the perk side of things we are running Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Steady Aim, Situational Awareness, Muffled Shot, Silent Driving, Camouflage Expertise and Snapshot. So the K-91, it's, for me, I think very similar to the 416 and the 430-2 tier 9. You got your sort of rear mounted turret, and yeah, it's not got bad view range, good accuracy I think, good gun depression as well. Surprisingly, you've actually got 9 degrees of gun depression. You got some nice DPM. Shell velocity on the APCR standard rounds, by the way, is absolutely fantastic. One of the best in the game. I think it's like 1700 meters per second. It's maybe the best. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's like a laser. So you've got some, you've got a good ammo mix. Like I say, the APCR on the standard rounds, and then you've got heat rounds, so I quite like that mix because it gives you the best of both worlds. You've got your high shell velocity usually on the APCR rounds, but then you've got the reliability of heat, with not losing any sort of penetration over distance. So I quite like that mixture really. And the heat pen is actually at 330, which is quite nice. So yeah, it's it's a nice little tank, to be fair, at tier 10. I would sort of play this definitely as sort of a flanker, sort of support role. Turret armor's not too bad, to be fair. You can bounce some rounds, but for me it's more sort of being able to sort of play that support role, get into those sniper positions as well, and catch these tanks off guard. The only sort of bad points about the tank is the hull armor's not great. Camo's okay, but not exceptional. So do sort of bear in mind if you are sort of trying to play those sort of sniper roles similar to the Object 416 or the 430-2. It's not going to be as good as what those tanks are, particularly the 416s. The Object 416 really is like a sniper's dream. And then you've got the gun arc limit. So again, similar to the Object 416 430-2, you can't rotate your turret fully. It's locked at, I'm not even gonna have a guess at how many degrees. I did read it, but I can't remember, so I'm not even going to attempt to give you false information there. You can see that it has got sort of a limited gun arc. So that's the K-91 pretty much in a nutshell. Overall, my opinion, I quite like the tank, to be fair. It's quite nice. Again, sort of very similar to the 430-2 and the 416, both tanks which I did thoroughly enjoy playing. And yeah, that shell velocity is just ridiculous. It's very, very nice. It's an obscure tank, I'm not going to lie. It can be a little bit sort of, or feel a little bit awkward to play. But yeah, it's not bad overall, to be honest. I just think, in terms of against sort of other tier 10 mediums, perhaps it's probably, well, it's certainly not as good as some. I mean, Leopard 1 kind of sort of takes the prize for me. Even the CS63. So I wouldn't say it was up there as a meta tank. It definitely isn't a meta tank in my opinion. There's certainly better mediums for it, more than it, should I say. But you can see we're not doing too bad a job on Erlenberg. We are 3 tanks up and we've done okay, so bouncing around there. Been a bit of an average game, if I'm honest, but like I say, sort of it's a bit slow and steady at the moment, and we've sort of pushed this side, which we are yeah, it's a bit 50-50 in the balance. I think we're going to lose this side, to be honest. Our medium is, or two mediums are on their own, sort of on limited health. I'm sort of trying to sort of weigh up the next best part of play for this tank. And I'm feeling like it's best for me to sort of come around, try and push in from behind, but also making sure there's nothing to the right of me as well. You know, these guys might have cover, like, you know, tank destroyers or anything. Doesn't look to be the case, as one of our, or both mediums should I say, get taken out. But we sneak a shot into the Drogon, we put him onto a one shot. We're now getting focused by artillery. There's also a tank destroyer here as well, which was covering, so now we kind of have to back out. And my plan was to sort of get right at the back and yeah, try and take out these guys as quickly as possible. It's a Turan and he fumbles his shot while we sneak our shot in. This is the beauty of the K-91, is you can quickly snapshot, so you can poke up, snap, get back down. I think that Turan, though, was suffering from poor aim. We're now getting rushed by artillery, which is interesting. And I was going to try and go for the track shot there. I missed the track shot, but fortunately the artillery just still went gung-ho, didn't aim, and completely missed the shotgun on me. Now I'm going to use his body as cover, as I managed to get the kill shot in, because I now have got this object 705 looking at me. And yeah, so I didn't really, you know, it's basically using artillery has been brilliant cover for me. I then get tracked in place, which is annoying, or my engine busted by this medium tank. I was hoping he was going to poke out and I could sneak a shot in, but then yeah, didn't quite pay off. And now we're just going to use this Debrek as cover, as both of the mediums then get taken out by our friendly teammates. The Object 705A has had enough of me being here, and he's going to rush in and try and see if he can finish me off. But again, good mobility, just going to use the Debrek to my advantage, and he gets taken out by my friendly teammates. So yeah, that one kind of played out quite weird, but that yeah, that is it for the K-91 anyway. Like I say, not a bad tank, to be fair. It's just, I think, like I say, it's just not in the current meta for, you know, various reasons. There's just other better tanks out there, I guess. But yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. So, in all fairness, I'll probably say out of all three, it'd probably be my most go-to. I don't know why. Just again, just prefer the good shell velocity, good DPM, and all that. So. But anyway, moving on to the second tank, which is the Object 430. You can see the equipment I've popped up in the right hand corner, and as well the perks. I actually think the perks are the same. I think perks and equipment might actually be the same as the K-91. I didn't quite see there, but you see what they are and you see what I've equipped on this tank. So yeah, the 430. It's, yeah, much different to the K-91 in terms of how it looks. It's basically a mid-turret tank rather than a rear. And you have actually got a choice of two guns on this tank. So you can play a 100mm gun or the 122. The 122 obviously has more alpha at 390 as opposed to 320 on the 100mm gun. It's got good shell velocity on its premium rounds, good mobility as well. Internal fire chance of only 10% as well. Now, take that possibly with a pinch of salt, I'm not sure. I've not played this tank enough to test that theory on whether that's correct or not, because we've had this issue before where tanks actually, you know, these stats can sometimes tell you fibs in terms of saying, oh yeah, it doesn't actually get set on fire quite a lot on paper, but yeah, in the game, in reality, it actually gets set on fire quite a lot. And yeah, we get our health shaved off nicely by this, you know, not toxic tank at all. Unfortunately, it's damaged our armor rack as well, which is not great because we've just burnt our repair kit when we were tracked in place, so we've not had a good start to the game. But yeah, back to sort of the good points of this tank. So it's got good turret armor as well. You can bounce quite a few rounds. The only sort of bad side of this though is, your aim time is 2.5 seconds, so you have got to give this tank a little bit of a chance to sort of hone in before you get the shot off. Accuracy is at 0.40 base, which is why I've sort of run quite a lot of the gun perks and sort of first stabs to make this accuracy a little bit better. View range is okay, standard sort of medium, Russian view range, terrible, not great, average. So yeah, it's not a spotter. And then your 5 degrees of gun depression, which is probably the worst part of the tank really. It just makes, I think, again, if you're a new player, you're gonna sort of not used to playing tanks that don't have very good gun depression, then this could be quite tricky. But overall, it's okay. It's okay. Again, it's not a tank that's in sort of the current meta again, because I think there's just better tanks out there, and also, like I say, it can be a little bit awkward to play. I think it can side scrape. Again, I've not tested that theory out enough, but I'm pretty sure I think you can side scrape effectively in this tank. But pesky Vigilante, honestly, I hate these tanks. I really do hate them. Absolutely despise them. I was hoping that was going to be the kill shot there, but apparently not. But never mind. We tried getting a blind shot in there, but unfortunately we hit the rock. Didn't quite see the rock in the way of us. We're in a bit of a bind actually on this game, because we're kind of stuck in this position. We can't move forwards because we don't really have any support. We just don't really have anywhere to go. We sort of pushed this position hoping that we would actually get some support, but that support never really came. So yeah, we're kind of just digging in here, and we're getting some nice shots off onto this AMX. But if it wasn't for that Vigilante and sort of hadn't bled so much, I mean, look at that. What the hell is that? That's ridiculous. I mean, like, it's just stupid. It's such a stupid tank. I didn't actually realise how ridiculous this was until sort of looking back on this replay. And yeah, but anyway, that's a moan for another time on Vigilante. But yeah, we're down to 53 hit points anyway, so yeah, we're kind of like just hoping on a dream here. But we've not done too bad, to be fair. We picked up 2.6k damage in the time that we've been sat here. We have bounced 2.5 damage. We're trying to see if we can squeeze a shot into that American medium there, but the gun depression was just saying no. But now we've managed to sort of level ourselves off, and we do manage to sneak that shot in. See, the DPM on this is not that bad actually. I mean, well, 5 seconds actually, that's pretty damn decent. So you're not on reload for too long. You can just sort of squeeze those shots in as and when. So yeah, we've done okay damage wise. We've got a bit of assistance as well. That was the main point for me to sort of poking up here. You can see sort of the TDs. We did have a little bit of cover. But yeah, now we're going to see if we could sneak a shot into that UDES, but he just gets absolutely annihilated. And now I'm thinking this might well be time to sort of squeeze into the town. We're only 3 tanks down, so it's still a bit close, but I just wish I had more hit points. So if I had more hit points to play with, then I probably could have been a bit more bold. I probably could have sort of made some more moves and got some angles on some of these tanks where I could get some shots in. But yeah, alas, it's not happening. But we do squeeze that shot into the G-Saw, taking that one-shot G-Saw out, which kind of helps our light tank that's in the town. We can see this tier 10 tank destroyer is on a one-shot now as well, and I'm thinking, it'd be nice to actually sort of go and squeeze a shell in there. But then we see artillery running. We try getting a shot in, but unfortunately I don't really know where that shot went, kind of just whiffed. But the Jaeger does take out the artillery. Now I'm going to move around. I don't know if that tank destroyer has been taken out or not, but just going to sort of bide our time and see if he is, and if not, perhaps we can sort of get an angle and get a shot on him. Scores are back to down to 7-5 now, so the red team are 2 tanks up. and I'm just monitoring what is left. I can see this E100 that I think is possibly crossing out in the open. So my idea really was to try and catch these guys as they were crossing. And see this 60 TP here. I'm backing up, so I've got some cover to move into in case I get lit. Unfortunately, we just land a shell into the tracks there, and we track him in place. Then we see this Indian Panzer. We squeeze a shot in there. The 60 TP, unfortunately, well, he gets tracked, which is fortunate. We managed to put a shell into the bottom plate, and then the Yaku just deletes him. So yeah, sad times for the 60 TP. Now I'm sort of looking behind, and then I get lit by the E100, and then you get shot by the E50 that's sitting across the way. So yeah, wasn't great. To be fair, sort of looking at our team and looking at my amount of hit points, I wasn't really sort of confident that this was going to be a win. But yeah, unfortunately it isn't. But again, it was just it was a decent enough game to sort of put up on the replays to show you what the Object 430 is about. And you see we come up with 4.2k there, 2.2k assisted, 2.5k blocked. So not a bad performance. Didn't pick up any aces or mastery medals or anything like that. But yeah, the 430 just kind of showing that off really. So then we move on to the final replay, and it is the Object 430U. You can see we're running gun ram, vert stabs and optics in the right hand side. We've got born leader, rapid reload, sixth sense, steady aim, snapshot, situational awareness, camouflage expertise, silent driving and running gun. Now I'm gonna sincerely apologise for ramming this replay down everyone's throats. Yeah, I actually put this replay up. This is the 10k replay I put up on the channel a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I've used it again because I didn't really sort of talk about the tank itself. I just sort of went straight into the gameplay because my first 10k game, so it was kind of like, well, I had in mind that I was going to use this replay again for the guide to grind, just because, yeah, I'm not going to get a better game than this in the Object 430. I'm not even sure I'm going to get a better game than this in any other tank, so hence why I'm using it again. So I do apologise if you have already seen this replay and you think, oh Christ, not this one again. You know what happens. It's kind of a spoiler alert. I do apologise, but it's just mainly to sort of go over the points of the tank, and yeah, like I say, give you a feel, or give you an explanation for those that are sort of interested in, you know, the good points, the bad points about 430U. Here it is. So going on to the good points, then you've got some really good alpha at 440. The heat pen on this is 340mm, which is fantastic heat pen. It's really nice. So you know, when you come up with sort of thickly armored tanks, you know, you can really go to town, or you should be able to go to town on majority of, you know, super heavies and things like that with 340 alpha pen. 340 pen, sorry, not 340 alpha. The turret armor is really good. So you've got good turret armor. The internal fire chance again is the same as the 430. It's 10%. Again, take that with a pinch of salt. I've not played this tank enough to tell you if that is true or not. The aim time is pretty acceptable, and it's a good side scraper. This, yeah, you can side scrape in it. So so the bad points of this tank is the accuracy again is 0.40, but you know, that's why we sort of run the gun perks and gun equipment to try and improve that as best as possible. Basically, it can feel a bit derpy. You know, like, you know, some of the shots you're seeing on the E6 here have been sort of a little bit sort of derpy, a little bit wayward. So you've got to expect that, and you know, for a 440 alpha tank, yeah, it's going to be a little bit like that. Again, not really a current meta tank. and again, it just comes the whole line. The whole line, I think, it just comes back to there's just better mediums out there. To be honest, you know, your American mediums now, and you think about it, the 120 mils. You know, okay, this is running more alpha, but they're only sort of 20 hit points, you know, lower. So with usually, I think, probably better reload as well, better DPM. So again, why are you going to choose this sort of thing over them, I guess, is probably the question we need to ask. It's got okay view range. Its shell velocity is quite slow as well, so it's one thing to sort of bear in mind. It's not going to be like K-91 at all. And yeah, the mobility's okay. Gun depression 5 degrees, so same as a 430. It's going to be awkward, it's going to be a nightmare. There's going to be maps like Proc, even this map, to be fair. I mean, I kind of made this work a little bit, you know, better than what I thought I would, but yeah, games like you know, maps like Proc, anything with sort of, you know, ridge lines and majority ridge lines to play, you're gonna struggle a little bit. So that's one thing to just bear in mind, really. Again, it's a bit of a support vehicle, and you probably can brawl in it in a sense, but then I think, you know, that upper plate's quite slanted. People, you know, again with good gun depression, just going to sort of point straight down on that and probably just go straight for it with premium. So again, do you want to be brawling with it? I'm not sure, really not sure. Again, I haven't played this tank enough to sort of warrant those, yeah, how good it is at those sort of things, you know, sort of brawling and anything like that. But I'll say, if I'm honest, I personally just don't think there's many tanks in this game that really sort of you can brawl with anymore without just getting absolutely punctured by premium rounds. So yeah, it's something you just have to sort of play, you know, potentially as sort of like, say, support vehicle on the flanks, and things like that. But yeah, it's not a bad tank, I don't think. I think there's, like I say, there's worse mediums, but there's better mediums out there for it. So yeah, that is the Object 430U. In conclusion, I think out of all three, I say I stick by what I say. I personally think the K-91 is probably the one I would go to out of all three of these. The Object 430 doesn't seem that bad. I mean, you know, this doesn't seem bad. It's just, yeah, I think the K-91 overall for me just feels like you can, you know, it's just a bit more flexible, I think. And I think sort of the good points, there's a lot of good points on it that outweigh the bad. I think compared to these two tanks, again, I just think the K-91 just feels that little bit more flexible with what you can do with it. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell, really. So yeah, in the game then, yeah, you can see sort of how we've put that 440 alpha gun to work, and it does feel quite nice, I must admit, when you're sort of hitting these tanks for sort of a, you know, good amount of health like that. You feel like you're actually putting in a shift in the game. So yeah, it is quite nice. And the reload on it as well is I'd say pretty decent, so you never feel like you're properly out of the fight at all with this tank. So yeah, we've just taken out that Avery there, and like I say, now we're just sort of going to move around. I feel like doing commentary on this is kind of a bit pointless, so we kind of know what, you know, how this game's going to go. I've sort of spoken about how the game goes anyway, so it's a bit of a difficult one, but like I said, I wasn't going to sort of pull out any more replays on this or try and get any, because you're just not going to, personally, I don't think I'm going to bet any of these, yeah, not this game with the Object 430U. We slapped a few shells into that Type 5 there, and yeah, so there's only 4 tanks left. I'd say platooned up with Fades here, who's helping us out in the Ruthless. So we've got good cover. He's got good majority. Well, he's full health. I've got a good majority of my hit points left to play with. So now it's just a case of try and find the remaining tanks, and we're going to push down to the right hand side here. Now, I said the 430 has okay mobility, looks like it's doing pretty well here, but we are going downhill, so again, take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, the mobility isn't bad. Like I say, it's not terrible. It's okay. It does move about. I think the K-91 is just a little bit faster, if I remember rightly. I think it might be 55 on the K-91, whereas this is just 50. So yeah, again, K-91 for me, just a little bit more mobility, managing to sort of being able to move around. Camo wise, I think it's a little bit better as well. So yeah, the line in general, overall, I think the 416 tier 8, I think, was probably the best tank out of this line to play. It just had everything. It's just, well, apart from gun depression, obviously, but the camo on that was just insane. It was a really unique medium in the sense of you played it more like a TD role than a medium. Very much a support vehicle, which I quite like, and do like sort of. I do like that TD sort of slash medium role because it means the tank is quite flexible, very flexible in terms of what it can do. You can sort of get shots off from positions where people would think, well, you can't do that in a medium, but you can. The 430-2 wasn't too bad either. Again, sort of quite enjoyed that. The rest of the tanks, the A44, I think, was okay. But yeah, I didn't keep it, to be fair. It was one I sold, but the rest of the most memorable was definitely Object 416 for me. I think I actually kept it in my garage, and the 430-2. So there will be some replays coming out on that tank. I did get quite a mass of decent games in that. So yeah, you can expect to see both tanks on the channel at some point, and I may well sort of get the tanks out again and get a few more games in it from time to time. So yeah, we've pretty much sort of concluded what everything on this line basically. So yeah, you can sort of go for it and see how you get, and say hopefully in this part you can see how well these tanks perform. You can sort of get an idea of how they play. Do they suit your, if they suit your play style as well? I mean, that's the object I try and do and get out of these guides grinds, is basically giving you an insight into if these grinds are for you. Is the tank for you? Does it suit your sort of style? Equally, if you sort of just played medium tanks with really good gun depression, would a change of pace, would sort of these tanks that have got a bit more armour but not the gun depression, would these sort of tanks suit you? So it really is just giving you that insight basically before you sort of pick up the tank and decide to grind it out. You can see for yourself. Might well be that if you're sort of still new to the game, or you're not quite familiar with these sort of tanks, you might think, no, I won't just play them just yet. I'll skip them and until I sort of get used to other medium tanks and side scraping and all those sort of things. So yeah, I've kind of exhausted pretty much everything I can say now. So I think what I'll do, guys, is rather than just keep waffling on and repeating myself, I'll let the video play out, and then we'll call it there for the day, guys. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, like I say, do feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Have you ground these tanks out? If you have, how do you find them? Feel free to share your opinions. It's always valuable for the channel. But that is it, guys, and yeah, I'll catch you next time.